The dump sites aren't hard to find. In each case, they are plainly marked by an aid to navigation. The buoys, waterway markers, and range markers that make seafaring so much safer for us all. Without the light that some emit at night, navigation would simply be impossible. But if you descend in the waters beneath these aids, you'll discover items which once contributed to safety on the surface, but are now creating a hazard on the bottom. Most are completely buried, but if you look closely, their graves are sometimes marked by short, barnacle-encrusted cables protruding from the sand. Sweep the sand away, and you uncover a battery, which once was used to light the aid above at night. When its electrical life was exhausted, the Coast Guard disposed of it by dropping it here. So how many batteries are down there? We can only venture a wild guess. How many lighted aids to navigation are there nationwide? And how many batteries over the years were disposed of from them in this fashion before the Coast Guard recognized it as an environmental hazard and discontinued the practice? In just a few minutes on the bottom, beneath one range marker in the bay, my dive partner and I found half a dozen batteries. I haven't had occasion to dive around range markers very often, but my dive partner has. Bob Raiola is a professional diver whose work takes him to waters throughout central and southwest Florida. He says batteries littering the bottom are a widespread phenomenon.
I've been able to inspect at least 16 counties up and down the shoreline and in and out of the intercoastal system, and this appears to be pretty prevalent in this area. I've gotten to the point now where I'm responsible for other people that dive alongside of me, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that they are safe.
Is this safe? No. And even if it were, it wouldn't be legal.
Oh, you can't dump anything. It's illegal to dump anything, whether it's a harmless substance or not. You just cannot dump anything in a body of water.
Tom Cardinal is a scientist with the Hillsborough County Environmental Protection Commission. We showed him and his boss, Director Roger Stewart, some of the batteries we'd found.
When we looked into it, we found that there was the possibility of having mercury in there, and that would have been the more potentially dangerous component.
Well, of course, this one has lead in it.
Yeah, that's what that looks like, a lead storage battery.
We found this battery beneath a bell buoy at the entrance of Port Manatee. It was a recent arrival, dated 1991. Elsewhere in the area, an abundance of the older models and other debris, such as the solar panels used to recharge the batteries. The solar panels pose no danger to the environment, as to varying degrees, all the batteries do.
Sure. It's a hazard. It goes in the food chain.
Scott Grybeck is a chemical engineer who works with the Bay Area's top testing labs. He disassembled one of the batteries for us and found frightening evidence of the effect they might have on the food chain.
I understand it,
small crabs which had crawled inside the case to absorb whatever poisons it might contain.
Yeah, it's alkaline. See the crab?
Yeah.
Not quite as alkaline as the battery itself.
And what of the Coast Guard itself? Our discovery of their batteries came as no surprise, except perhaps for the new model which we had found. But Chief Bill Andrus, who heads the Aids to Navigation Division, assured me the Coast Guard no longer disposes of its batteries at sea.
Not since the mid-'80s, as the EPA and the whole country became more environmentally conscious.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Prior to the mid-'80s, it was common practice or occasional practice?
That would all be speculation.
Yeah. What in your own experience?
I'd say occasional. And like any entity, I'd say some areas maybe enforced policies stricter than others. But we've had definite hard guidelines since the mid-'80s and really going back to the late 70s.
In fact, the chief had a stack of worn-out batteries, each carefully bagged and ready to be sent back to be recycled. But what of all those that remain out in the bay on the bottom, and on the bottoms of bays, sounds, rivers, harbors, and waterways throughout the land? What can the Coast Guard do about them?
We have the potential of having thousands of batteries in the bay that will need to be removed. And so our part of the investigation will be to help the Coast Guard or whoever is going to actually clean up these batteries, identify the locations and get them removed as quickly as possible.
If this is endemic nationwide, will it be done nationwide?
I would hope so. I hope that this story gets the attention of the nation, because I think this problem probably exists everywhere where the Coast Guard or anybody maintains buoys and channel markers.